$1 $825 yearly on lattes, and your barista won't tell you what it really costs. In the next 8 minutes, I'm showing you the exact data from the Bureau of Labor Statistics that proves most people underestimate their coffee spending by 300%. The shocking $120,000 wealth gap this creates over 10 years, and the one simple change that saves you over $10,000 in just 5 years. Because if you're a single W-2 worker watching your savings rate slip, this hidden leak might be the biggest threat to your financial goals, and inflation is about to make it worse. Let's start with the belief most people hold: buying a latte every day is just a small indulgence. It's $5, it's nothing, you deserve it, you work hard. It's basically a rounding error in your monthly budget. That's the wrong belief. And it's costing you 6 figures. Here's the correct reality. According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics Consumer Expenditure Survey, the official government tracking of what Americans actually spend, the average household spends around $100 per year on coffee and tea combined. But for regular coffee shop visitors, the number is much higher. Forbes' analysis of actual spending patterns shows that consistent latte buyers, people purchasing $1.05 drink every weekday, spend $1 $825 per year. That's just on coffee. Now you might think, okay, $1 $825 a year, that's less than $200 a month. I can absorb that, but here's where most people fail to do the math. The delta, the gap between what you think this costs you and what it actually costs you, is approximately $120,000 over 10 years when you factor in lost investment growth. Let me show you why. Let's build this out with real numbers. If you're spending $5 per day on a latte 5 days a week, that's $300 annually on weekday lattes alone. Add weekend spending, the occasional splurge, the seasonal drink premium during fall, and you easily hit $1 $825 per year. That's conservative. Now here's the part your brain refuses to calculate: opportunity cost. If that $1 $825 annually went into an index fund instead of coffee cup, it would compound. The S&P 500 has returned an average of 10% annually over the past 20 years. Plug $1 $825 into a compound interest calculator at 10% annual growth over 10 years, and you're not looking at $18,250. You're looking at roughly $29,000 in the account. Because of compounding, over 20 years, that same $1 $825 annual contribution grows to approximately $101,000 at 10% compounding. Over 30 years, your working life from age 35 to 65, it's approximately $233,000. But there's more. Most research on the latte habit shows it's not actually $5 per day. According to a 2023 Bankrate survey, the median specialty coffee drink in America costs $6.50, and in major metros like New York, San Francisco, and Boston, it's $7.50 or higher. If you're spending $6.50 daily instead of $5, you're at $370 per year, which compounds to approximately $38,500 over 10 years and $167,000 over 30 years. That's the trap. You think it's $5. You budget for $100 a month. But the actual lifetime cost, the true economic impact when you factor in what that money could have earned, is $120,000 to $233,000 depending on your age and actual spending. Why does this matter now? Because inflation has made every dollar count more. The Federal Reserve's own surveys show that the median American household has less than $5,000 in emergency savings. According to the Board of Governors' 2023 survey of household economics and decision-making, 37% of adults couldn't cover a $400 emergency expense without borrowing or selling something. For single W-2 workers, people earning a salary without multiple income streams, that $1 $825 annual latte spend represents roughly 10% of discretionary income for someone earning $60,000 annually. That's not a rounding error. That's a direct threat to your emergency fund, your down payment on a house, your ability to weather a job loss, and your timeline for retirement. Let me be explicit about what this means. If you're a 35-year-old single W-2 worker earning $65,000 annually with typical expenses, and you're spending $1 $825 per year on coffee, you're effectively pushing back your retirement goal by 5 to 2 years. You're reducing your down payment fund by $38,500 over the next 10 years when compound growth is included. You're accepting a lower emergency fund, higher credit card debt when emergencies hit, and more financial stress. Now here's the part I promised you at the start, the one specific change that saves you $10,000 plus in 5 years. It's not never drink coffee again. That's not sustainable, and it's not realistic for most people. The change is this: switch from daily coffee shop purchases to a home brewing habit. With a budget of approximately $0.50 to $1.00 per cup. If you're currently spending $1 $825 annually, and you cut that to $250 annually through home brewing, you've freed up $1 $575 per year. Over 5 years, that's $7 $875 in contributions. At 8% compound growth, that grows to approximately $11 $300. You've just created an extra $11 $300 in wealth in half a decade by switching from lattes to home coffee. But let's be real, most people won't go cold turkey. A more realistic middle path is this. Reduce coffee shop spending to 2-3 times per week instead of daily and brew at home the other days. That cuts your annual spend from $1,825 to approximately $600 to $800. You're now saving $1,000 plus per year. Over 10 years, that's $10,000 plus in pure savings before compound growth, and closer to $15,000, $17,000 when you factor in the 8-10% annual return on invested savings. Some of you are thinking that's still a meaningful lifestyle change. I like my daily ritual. I like the barista interaction. It's part of my day. That's completely valid. But here's the question you need to ask yourself. Is a $5 daily ritual worth $120,000 in retirement savings? Is it worth delaying your home purchase by 2 years? Is it worth accepting a lower emergency fund? Is it worth choosing between saving for retirement and building cushion for unexpected expenses? The data from BLS and the Federal Reserve tells us that the average single W-2 worker is not on a trajectory to retire at 65 with adequate savings. The median retirement account balance for people aged 55-64 is approximately $87,000 according to the Federal Reserve. That's less than 2 years of median retirement spending. Every $1,825 per year you're not investing is making that gap worse. So the real question isn't whether lattes are bad. The real question is whether you understand the true cost. Most people don't. Most people think it's a $5 expense. They don't calculate the $120,000 lifetime impact. They don't factor in the inflation effect or the lost investment growth or the impact on their specific financial goal. Here's what I want you to do. Track your actual coffee spending for the next 30 days. Not what you think you spend, actual spending. Add up every coffee shop purchase. Then multiply by 52, that number is your real annual cost. Then multiply that number by 30. That's the rough lifetime cost before compound growth. When you see that number, the decision becomes clear, not because lattes are evil, but because the trade-off becomes visible. For the full numbers, the tracking spreadsheet, and the actual case studies from people who made this shift and the impact it had on their specific financial goals, the full deep version is in the companion book, The Latte Math, link in the description. Here's the biggest takeaway. Small daily habits create massive lifetime wealth gaps. You can't see it day to day. But over 10, 20, 30 years, it compounds into the difference between retiring at 65 or 72, between owning a home or renting, between financial stress or financial stability. The latte is just one example. The same math applies to DoorDash subscriptions, gym memberships you don't use, subscription services, daily convenience purchases. Anywhere you're saying it's just a little bit, it doesn't matter. It does matter. The math is real, and now you know. If this changed your perspective on daily spending habits, hit subscribe. I'm breaking down the hidden costs in subscription services next.